Dwayne, good evening.
My name is Wander. My birthday's September.
Thank you so much. So you're here on a new charge. It's one count of criminal trespassing of a residence. It's a Class 6 felony. Now, you will have the assistance to be represented by a court-appointed lawyer. All of your hearings at this point are going to be in the downtown Superior Court. This is in Phoenix. Your courtroom is going to be located in the South Court Tower, at least to start with, and there's 3 hearings we've set up for you, Dwayne, right from the start. The first hearing is going to be a status conference on Tuesday, July 30th at 8:30, so that's next Tuesday. The next day, Wednesday, July 31st at 1:30, you have what we call an evidentiary hearing. And then on Thursday, August 1st at 8:30, you have a preliminary hearing. So 3 straight days of court hearing next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, Dwayne, at the present time, you are not eligible to be released from custody at this kind of a jail hearing. And the reason why is because when you picked up that new felony charge, you were already on release in another felony case. And under Arizona law, that makes you ineligible to be released at this kind of a hearing. The judge that you see next Wednesday at 1:30 at that evidentiary hearing, that's the only judge that has the authority to tell you if you can be released or not. So you are held non-bailable at this time, at least until next Wednesday. Yes,
I'm supposed to go to court tomorrow on the 25th.
Chances are that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
It's the same. It's for the case.
It's not this case. This is a new charge you just got arrested on.
I know you can't put all the cases together.
Not here, no. It'll happen they'll all join up at some point in time, but not here at this point in time. So you've got to go to your first court hearings that I gave you next week, and then at that point in time, once you get past those 3 hearings, then they'll join up at some point in time.
I only got trespassing. I thought that was a misdemeanor.
Nope, not of a residence. So an apartment or anything else like that, it's a felony.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. Bernice? After Bernice will be Danny Decker. Bernice, good evening. Can I have you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
Bernice Morrison.
Okay.
What's the 10-4?
Oh, perfect. All right, so you're here in a grand jury warrant, meaning that when the grand jury here in Maricopa County listened to some evidence in a case involving you, they found probable cause for some charges against you. Now, they found probable cause. These were from July 17th. Let me just double check, make sure that's correct. No, May 10th, I'm sorry. May 10th is the date of the offenses, and it's 1 count of narcotic drug possession, Class 4 felony, 1 count of dangerous drug possession, Class 4 felony, and 1 count of criminal trespassing of a residence, Class 6 felony. Now, you will be entitled to be defended by a court-appointed lawyer. Your hearings are going to be in downtown Superior Court. These are going to be in the Central Court building, and they're going to start next week. They're both going to happen on Wednesday. July 31st at 8:30 in the morning is your not guilty arraignment hearing. And then the same day at 1:30 in the same building, you have an evidentiary hearing. Now, at the present time, you're not eligible to be released from custody at this kind of a jail hearing, and that's because you also were on release in another felony case at the time that these felony charges allegedly occurred. So I
got arrested on it, and when I was in jail, they closed the case.
Yep, then they brought it back up. So that's, unfortunately, in May of this year, you were on felony release in another case. So you will be held non-bailable at the present time. The first judge that is going to be able to tell you if you can be released is the judge you see at 1:30 next Wednesday at your evidentiary hearing. It's the only judge that has the authority to tell you if you can be released, okay? Any other questions? All right, thank you, ma'am. The officer will have your paperwork. All right, Danny Decker, and then Logan Wagner, you're going to be next. Danny, good evening.
Danny Decker.
Thank you, Danny. All right, so you're here on your 3 probation cases. It's the same reason in all 3.
Yeah.
And that is that your probation officer did allege you violated some of your terms. Now, these are terms 1, 5, and 15. So you are going to have to see your probation judge. That hearing, the first available hearing that we can get you in is going to be next Wednesday, July 31st at 8:30. Now, if you've not been through probation court before, that's down in the Central Court building down in the basement, part of downtown Superior Court. You will have a court-appointed lawyer, and on 2 of the 3 cases, your judge is holding you non-bondable. On the 3rd probation case, the judge set $1,500 bail, and it would be secured to allow you to work with a bail company. But because the judge is technically holding you non-bailable on the other 2, there's no reason to even try posting bail on that 3rd case. So you're going to remain in custody at least until you see your judge next Wednesday, and then your probation judge will be able to tell you exactly if you can get released or not, or under what conditions, okay? Any questions for me?
No.
Thank you, sir. Logan? Bryce Lincoln, you're going to be next. Logan, good morning.
Good morning.
Excuse me for my voice. All right. So tell me your name and your date of birth.
Logan Wagner, 1.
So, Logan, you are here on a grand jury warrant also. So the grand jury, they did find probable cause on some charges against you. You probably already know about these. These are from April the 4th. And there are 2 counts of aggravated DUI for having a suspended, revoked, or canceled. Those are class 4 felonies. 2 counts of aggravated DUI for having a 3rd or more DUI within the last 7 years. Those are class 3 felonies. 1 count of dangerous drug possession, class 4 felony, and 1 count of leaving the scene of an accident, and that's a class 1 misdemeanor. Now, on those charges, you will be defended by a court-appointed lawyer. Your hearings are going to be in the downtown Superior Court, and they're going to start out in the Central Court building. And the first hearing you have is called not guilty arraignment. It's next Wednesday, July 31st at 8:30 in the morning. Now, your lawyer will be there to assist you. The grand jury, the judge that's in charge of that grand jury, set your bail already on that warrant. It was $10,000, and the judge did make it cash only. So now I know you've been in custody, I think, for about 3 months or so. Now, that doesn't change your release conditions in any other case. It's just for these charges from April the 4th. So people always like to know, is that the whole thing? And this is meant to be in addition to, not in place of, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
All right. If you do get eligible to be released, no alcohol or drugs, don't drive without a license. Because there was some accident involved, I don't know what it is. These cases are sealed, but no contact with any victims or witnesses, okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bryce Lincoln and then John Bosky. All right. Bryce,
Yes.
can I have your name and your date of birth again for me?
Bryce Lilligan.
So, all right, so Bryce, when we last met, I gave you some court dates and you didn't show up to them. So your judge set another warrant for your arrest for failing to appear. This time, your judge is going to has set bail for you, though. So your new court dates are going to be Tuesday, July 30th at 8:30, and Thursday, August 1st at 8:30. Now, we've already appointed a lawyer to represent you, so I promise you'll still be represented, but the judge set your bail at $2,500. It is secured, allowing you to work with a bail company. Just make sure that if you are intending to bond out that you don't miss court, because you would risk losing your bail money.
Okay.
No drugs without a prescription, and do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you, Bryce. You have a good evening.
Okay.
John Bosky. And then Lynn Page. Perfect, thanks, Lynn. All right, John, good morning.
Good morning. John Bosky.
Deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're here on your probation case. Probation officer alleged 4 violations, terms 6, 7, 11, and 12. The soonest I can get you in, John, for your probation hearing is next Wednesday, July 31st at 8:30. That's down to the basement of the Central Court building, excuse me, all part of downtown Superior Court. You will, of course, have a lawyer in that courtroom waiting for you. Your probation judge sets your bail at $2,500.
Okay.
Now, it is secured. It will allow you to work with a bail company. If you're intending to bond out, call your probation officer within the first 3 days of getting out. No weapons, alcohol, or drugs. Make your court date so you don't risk losing any bail money. And I think that's everything I got to tell you, John. Any questions?
No.
Thank you, sir. Lynn, and after Lynn will be James McQueen.
Good evening.
Good evening, Lynn. All right, let's start with your name and your date of birth.
Lynn Page.
Thank you. All right, so Lynn, you're here on your probation case also. Now, your probation officer did allege 3 violations. Those are of terms 6, 7, and 11, 12, 21. 6, 7, and 21. Now, your probation hearing is next Wednesday, July 31st at 8:30. And if you haven't been through that probation court before, it's down in the basement of Central Court Building, which is all part of the Superior Court complex in downtown. Everybody in probation court gets a lawyer. You're going to have one too. That lawyer will be in your courtroom waiting for you next Wednesday. Judge sets your bail at $1,500. It is secured, and you can use a bail company. Now, if you're intending to bond out, just make sure that you call your probation officer within the first 3 days of getting out, because they can violate you if you don't. No weapons, alcohol, or drugs, and just make sure if you've bonded out, you make those court hearings, because you could risk losing either some or all of that bail money, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
I just wanted to ask the court to kind of have lenience and maybe possibly lower my bond. I'm a full-time student. I'm a business administration student right now. I've been in school almost 5 months with Liberty University. I can log in. I can prove that I'm a student. I've actually missed 7 days of school already. And on the 9th day, I'll be kicked out. I'll lose all my classes, and I'll be dropped out of my classes. And I'm in 4 different classes right now. And it's very important that I stay in school. And I am an active student right now. And I've been a student for almost 5 months. I'm an undergraduate, like I said, in business administration. I'm in accounting. I'm in business 211. I mean, I can go on and on. But I have not been able to do any work since I've been locked up. I've been in Tucson already in Pima County for 6 days.
Yeah.
So if there's any way that you can lower the bond,
It can't be
please.
lower. It can't be lowered much, if anything. And the reason why I'm looking back at your probation history.
I'm off in September.
Yeah,
I'm
your
done.
probation history hasn't been great.
But no new charges at all in 7 years on a 3-year probation, and I've really turned my life around. I started a lawn care business the day that I was arrested. I was going to get some belongings at a place where I wasn't allowed to be anymore. The police showed up, and that's it. I mean, I was working lawn care and going home to do my schoolwork, and I have turned I have done a 360.
Yeah.
And I'm off probation in September, and I can't afford to lose my grants and stuff, and I can prove that I'm active in school right now. I can give you my logins, whatever you need.
Okay. I'm going to look at your APETS, because it's saying that you haven't checked in since 2022.
Yeah, and the judge, the last time, then that's the only issue that I've had is that I didn't check in, because when I got out of prison in 2018, I got out with a 3-year tail. And I didn't know that every time I violated my probation would start over. So with not one single new charge since I've gotten out of prison, not one. I have not been in any kind of trouble at all. The only thing is I have an issue with checking in. However, now in this last year, I have done a 360. The judge actually capped it off the last time I was in court. He capped it 2 years. And so September, I should be completely done as long as I do not get any new charges. So like I said, I've been completely under the radar. I've been doing my program. I got myself into school. I've been a full-time active student for 5 months, 7 days a week, business administration, accounting, 211. I mean, I am currently an active student. And if I go 9 days.
So what were you doing in Tucson jail then?
That's where I was arrested, because
It says that you had drug paraphernalia on you.
Oh, I didn't have any drug paraphernalia at all.
That's in your APETS note. It says the U.S. Marshal Service. It says DOC Corrections Detective on the U.S. Marshal Service Task Force in Tucson called your probation officer on July 18th, advised you had been detained, wanted to know your status. You've been on warrant status for over a year now, and that you have drug paraphernalia on you, and this officer gave them authorization to conduct a probation search on your vehicle, seeing you were in possession of it. And
I think that was a misunderstanding, because my boyfriend smokes blues.
Okay.
And it's definitely not mine. And the reason that we were pulled over is because we were driving through a parking lot after doing a lawn care service.
I can't do anything about this at this point in time. There's just too much there. If you had checked in at some point in time, or if you hadn't been reinstated like 3 prior times, I mean, everything I'm looking at, I mean, I really did try to look and give you.
Yeah, because
the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not even doing any drugs,
Yeah.
period,
I'm
at all. I've been clean off of drugs for an extremely long
But
time.
I looked to see, is this the first time you've been through probation court? Have you at least checked in lately? Have, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything I'm looking at, it just doesn't look great for you.
Okay.
And I did try. I mean, I spent time.
Thank
And
you.
I don't usually, and I just don't think, not only that, but the bail, at one point in time, you had been held non-bailable. One point in time, your probation warrant was for $2,500, then it was for $1,800. So even though it's not a great track record, actually your bail amount keeps going down.
Well, because
It's
I'm
not
off probation in September.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to talk to your probation judge about that.
Yeah.
But, because-
7 years on a 3-year probation, that's a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
I tried to look at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it?
That's it.
All right, thank you, sir, or ma'am.